How's it going, world? It's Carpo here, and I got back the other day from my trip to Soak, which is the regional Burning Man, and it was a couple days ago. I haven't really made any videos. I've been doing a little bit of processing, thinking, and so now I decided that I wanted to make... I wasn't quite sure exactly how to express this. The reason why I go to Soak is because of the community, but there's much more to it than that, and there are 10 principles of Burning Man. Now, first off, I wanted to say I've never been to Nevada, to the actual, what they call now the Nevada Regional. Burning Man originally started in San Francisco. It got bigger. They moved it to the Nevada desert. Now it's called Black Rock City, and many people would have you believe that if you haven't been to the big Burning Man, then you just don't understand Burning Man. Now, there are always going to be the elite type people who have to mark off rings on their, on their wrist to see how many they've been to, and tell everybody about it. There's a little bit of that that's acceptable in the sense of community. In other words, if a person says, yes, I've been to Burning Man 10 times, a person knows that they understand the culture and that they go there because they like it. But what's happened in recent years is, in the last decade or so, many more regional Burning Man have come up. Now, when I go to mine, there's about 1,500 people. I can barely meet a few of the people in the time that I'm there. Now, the one in the desert's something like 50 to 200 times bigger, and there's really no way that I'd meet everyone. I grew up in the Northwest, and so the desert is not exactly... the playa, the dust storms and all that. I know that all adds to the character of it. But anyway, I don't want to get into the details of what Burning Man is, because I'm really here just to talk about the principles. Because I want people to understand that there is a community out there that respects and honors diversity, culture, understanding, and fairness, and to break away from commerce. People might not... folks are often surprised to find that at Burning Man, nothing is for sale. Really, the only thing you buy besides a ticket is ice, and they have beverage sales at like the main camp in the Nevada one. But as for Soak, we just started selling ice last year, and that's the only thing that's sold. And it's not done for profit, it's done just because people need ice. It's the only thing that you can't bring enough of. In other words, you can bring all this stuff for self-reliance, but when it comes to ice, you're going to run out. So, I wanted to read the 10 principles of Burning Man so people understand really what it's all about. I think that it has a tarnished image over the last, I don't know how long. People seem to think it's a bunch of hippies out in the desert getting high. And there's so much more to it than that, but ultimately it's a matter of acceptance of all people. So I'm not going to sit here and talk about it. I want to read these first so I can discuss them. But these are the 10 basic principles of Burning Man. Radical inclusion. Anyone may be a part of Burning Man. We welcome and respect the stranger. No prerequisites exist for participation in our community. And that's so true. If you go there, you will see people from all walks of life, and they're all hanging out and discussing things and getting along on a level of understanding. 2, gifting. Burning Man is devoted to acts of gifting. The value of a gift is unconditional. Gifting does not contemplate a return or an exchange for something of equal value. And you can walk up to anybody who's serving food or has a bar or a drink and just grab one. It's the strangest feeling to have somebody walk up and just feel comfortable grabbing whatever they want from your table. And that's what it's really all about. Now, of course, not everybody's camp. It's not like somebody's coming in and taking shit out of your camp. But if you have a table set up with stuff, people feel comfortable enough to, grab some, because that's what people do. 3 is decommodification. In order to preserve the spirit of gifting, our community seeks to create social environments that are unmediated by commercial sponsorships, transactions, or advertising. We stand ready to protect our culture from such exploitation. We resist the substitution of consumption for participatory experience. And I think with all the marketing in the world, we can all relate to that one. Radical self-reliance. Burning Man encourages the individual to discover, exercise, and rely on his or her inner resources. It's pretty self-explanatory. Radical self-expression. Radical self-expression arises from the unique gifts of the individual. No one other than the individual or a collaborating group can determine its content. It is offered as a gift to others. In this spirit, the giver should respect the rights and liberties of the recipient. And you'd have to go to understand, but that's pretty much what it's all about. Everybody's got their own thing. Communal effort. Our community values creative cooperation and collaboration. We strive to produce, promote, and protect social networks, public spaces, works of art, and methods of communication that support such interaction. And this is the very reason why I volunteer for the ice booth. And many people get there and they volunteer for various shifts. The whole thing is run by volunteers. So there's a certain satisfaction in knowing that you're doing something for the right reasons. And this is what makes people want to help, out of the understanding that by helping, they're creating the community themselves, that they're part of it, that they're not just customers, that they're people. Civic responsibility. We value civil society. Community members who organize events should assume responsibility for public welfare and endeavor to communicate civil responsibilities to participants. They must also assume responsibility for conducting events in accordance with local, state, and federal laws. And that's just basically following the rules that we've set in motion for ourselves. Leaving no trace. Our community respects the environment. We are committed to leaving no physical trace of our activities wherever we gather. We clean up after ourselves and endeavor, whenever impossible, to leave such places in a better state than we found them. And they have a cleanup crews that don't just pick up garbage. They actually cover the burn site up. Like where we burn it in the grass, they actually plant new grass, and replant it, and make everything better than we found it. Because this is what, when people will invite you back, if you treat and respect their property, their land, with respect, they will respect you back. Participation. Our community is committed to a radically participatory ethic. We believe that transformative change, whether in the individual or in society, can occur only through the medium of deeply personal participation. We achieve being through doing. Everyone is invited to work. Everyone is invited to play. We make the world real through actions that open the heart. And this is basically just obviously stepping up to the plate. And the last one is immediacy. Immediacy experience is, in many ways, the most important touchstone of value in our culture. We seek to overcome barriers that stand between us and a recognition of our inner selves, the reality of those around us, participation in society, and contact with the natural world, exceeding human powers. No idea can substitute for this experience. And so that's it. And that pretty much sums up many of the values that I have in my own life and what I find to be important. And this is why when I found the community, it was such an amazing experience. And it was really about 6 years ago when I found Soak. And I was in a band with my brother, and he said, hey, his buddy Sam has a DJ friend. His name is DJ B-Lit. He's from Portland here. And he has a camp there at this thing called Soak. And he said we can stay with him and we can play a show while we're there. So we did. And for 2 years in a row, we played a little show there. And at first I was a little taken back by the differences. I guess, there's a lot of people, naked people dancing around the fire, okay? And some people cannot handle that. Some people cannot handle nudity. They can't handle people who are different or, have their own authentic way of being. There are people who are very shallow and people who are very deep. The community consists of all different types of people. But what you'll find is that most of the people who remain at Burning Man events and go year after year are people who have a level of insight they cannot seem to share with the average person. And therefore, by going to Burning Man, you can just, for example, I had a camp set up. It was called Coffee Lab. And every morning I got up and I made this big 40-cup pot of coffee and had these urns and everything. And so there's people walking around at 7 in the morning who have been up all night and they're really tired and they just need a cup of coffee. Then there's people who went to bed early and just woke up. So you've got the people that are just coming down from the night and people just getting up in the morning, and they're both crossing and coming over and getting coffee. And once they found out I had coffee, I had all these people coming and getting it. I bought like $100 box of coffee. I didn't, you don't charge anything for it. You're not there to try to make any money. You're just there to meet people, and you do it because you love it. And right across the way, they had free pancakes. They got bacon down the way. Pretty much anything you need, you can have. And the idea is not to go there and just get free stuff. It's to see that everyone else is giving things away, and you want to give things away too. So this one fella sat down and we talked for like an hour about ethics. And, you know, he got to talking about how he found philosophy to be more or less useless, and that he was going to write a book about ethics, and that he was going to prove a mathematical formula for ethics. And we got in this long, deep conversation, and I tried to say that, you know, you have to be able to explain these things in layman terms, and then we learned from each other and walked away from it both better people. And this happened over and over and over. I met so many great people, musicians, artists, thinkers, and every one of them had something to contribute to my understanding of myself and my world, and I'm hoping that I help them contribute to some of theirs too. And that's what we're there to do. We're there to show that there is a reason to believe that humans can be very good people and want to help. Burning Man is an example of what it takes to get people to help out and to be a community. It's being recognized for who you are and feeling like you're part of the community. And with that, people are willing to give their hearts and souls. And that's, you know, I think that example could really be utilized in many facets of our world. But many people just can't handle it, you know. They're stuck in the mundane. A lot of people that go to Burning Man are engineers and professors and very intelligent, educated people that have decided they want to be with people who are like-minded to share their passions and their ideas. And this is what it's become. So, I don't know what else to say about it. It's just an amazing experience that everybody should have. And if you have a regional Burning Man near you, you should check it out sometime. At least give it one shot. You may not even realize that you have them. Soak isn't the thing they advertise around here. If you don't know about it, then you don't hear about it. And that's why it's important to keep an eye on these things. You know, some of these cultural things, people are, you know, ideas are shifting, and people are changing and growing. And like Symbiosis next year is going, it's a festival. They're having it next year, and I guess they're going to hold it down here in Oregon because of the full eclipse. So that sounds really good too. The problem with a lot of these festivals is that they're very high priced. They're based on performers, and it's based on commerce, and it's based on making money, whereas Burning Man's is not. It doesn't mean that some parts of Burning Man aren't commercialized. I won't deny that there are people that do that within the community, but the community does not represent that. So that's my sharing for the day. Hope you all have a good one.